Sarazanmai is the latest anime from legendary director Kunihiko Ikuhara, and I want to talk about it. The first episode came out just this past Thursday, and if you've been following the discussions online about it and what it might mean, then you probably don't need to watch this video. But if you've just finished the episode and you're wondering what the hell you just watched, then this might be for you. If you haven't seen the first episode, then you should go watch it because it was good. Sarazanmai establishes a comedic tone from the very beginning. However, that doesn't mean that everything that happens is totally random. While a lot of what happens in this episode isn't serious, that doesn't mean that we can't examine it for meaning. While it's perfectly fine to watch Sarazanmai for just the weirdness and spectacle, I'm the particular kind of nerd who really likes to dig into stuff, and so that's what this video is going to be. In general, Sarazanmai is pretty upfront with its ideas. It's going to talk about shame, connection, and sexuality, and you shouldn't need me to tell you that if you watch the first episode. All these ideas are conveyed in words and images throughout the episode, and I want to talk about a few of the more interesting ways that these ideas were shown through the symbols that the episode used. First, there's the imagery of boxes. The three main characters, Kazuki, Toei, and Enta, all have boxes which contain secrets that they want to hide. Kazuki has his dress, and if you pause at the right moments, you can see that Toei's box has a gun inside it, and Enta's has a sort of ankle bracelet thing. In the OP, we can see that Toei's brother is holding this gun. So we can assume that Toei is hiding the gun because it is illegal for him to own it, and he would be punished if it was discovered. As Enta tells us, the contents of his box are for Kazuki. The ankle band obviously represents something about their relationship to him, and that's why it's important to him. It doesn't take a crystal ball to guess that Enta probably has some sort of romantic feelings for Kazuki, and this ankle bracelet represents his sort of conflicting desires to both express his feelings but also his fear of rejection and shame. The characters carry literal boxes which contain their secrets, just as they carry their desires and feelings hidden inside them in day-to-day life. It's worth noting that in the finale of the episode, the three main characters actually steal the secret of the box zombie, which is the very thing that they're afraid is going to happen to them. Kazuki even says something like, "It's your fault for having a secret that you would be ashamed of," as he goes in and steals the box zombie Shirokadama. I wouldn't be surprised to see some commentary on how internal shame can be externalized and put upon others as a way to defend one's own secret and sense of self. But we'll have to see if that shows up in future episodes, just a guess. And last but not least, the box represents the asshole. Hidden and shameful, but also containing potential pleasures, the anus is actually a neat metaphor for the character's hidden desires and feelings. It conveys how visceral, natural, and seemingly unpleasant the character's hidden feelings are, because it compares them to a very visceral part of the human body. I think I could have worded this a bit better. One thing I failed to draw attention to is how the sense of shame surrounding the anus is sort of societally imposed, because, if you think about it, there's no real reason you should be ashamed of butt stuff. But at the same time, I guess the shame is sort of why I find it funny. The point is that the sense of shame surrounding the anus is something which is just a viewpoint of society. It could also correspond to the anal stage in Freud's theory of childhood development. The anal stage refers to the stage in a child's development when it learns to associate defecating freely and just in general a lack of control over oneself with shame and punishment from the mother. So as a child learns not to defecate itself, it is learning to repress its own desires so as to conform to society, in this case the mother. Freud believed that this formed the foundation of future psychosexual repression. And this all fits very well with the ideas presented in this first episode. Keeping in mind the end of the episode, as well as the director's past work, it seems easy to guess that these characters have some sort of traumatic past which has led to their current mental states. which sort of feeds into this whole Freudian idea of your future being controlled by your development as a child. So boxes equals secrets equals asshole. Simple enough. The box is contrasted with the dish, or Sara in Japanese, Sarazanmai. Where a box holds things to be concealed and removed later, a dish presents them out in the open to be consumed. After the characters capture the Shirokodama of the box zombie, they turn back into humans, and we see a very nice looking sequence, which I would bet we're going to see many more times over the course of the series. It is explained to the audience that the characters are leaking. Their secrets are being revealed to one another, and we see Kazuki's secret of his cross-dressing being revealed to Enta and Toei. Now, before this, the characters are zooming through this water tunnel, and they're taking on the shape of the katakana for the letter A, which is a symbol that appears all over the show. Over their heads is a reception signal. Now, this reception signal is kind of interesting. The best theory that I've read about it is that the 3 signal bars above the letter A could be interpreted as dishes, right? And there's 3 main characters and thus 3 dishes as they connect with each other. So that's sort of a neat visual parallel. Now, the letter A could potentially stand for antenna, which is the same in Japanese as English if Google Translate hasn't failed me. So, antenna, connection, dishes, reception. We're seeing a theme of technology and human connection, which appears multiple times in the episode and seems like it would be a big theme going forward. Dishes also relate to Kappa, a mythical Japanese river creature, which was said to have a dish on its head that contained water, and if that water spilled out, then the Kappa would be weakened. This doesn't seem to be the case with the Kappas in Sarazanmai, since none of them seem to have any liquids in their dishes at all. One thing which is true to the folklore, however, is the capturing of Shirokodama. In Japanese folklore, the Kappa was said to extract the mythical organ of the Shirokodama from a person's anus, and this organ was said to contain their soul. So yes, all the stuff about taking balls from butts is not something that Ikuhara just made up. That's from real folklore. But looking at the finished product, it might as well be made up for how far Ikuhara took the idea. Oh, and Kappa like cucumbers and sumo wrestling. A possible interpretation for the children turning into Kappa is that they are giving up their own sense of empathy and humanity by exposing other secrets in order to protect their own. That's just a guess though, and we'll have to see how things turn out in future episodes. So, those are the major images presented in episode 1 of Sarazanmai. Otters are clearly going to be very important as well, but I'd like to wait a little bit to see how they're used before I start, throwing out ideas. If you want my personal opinion, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought the animation was great, and I found it very entertaining, despite the fact that it covers a lot of ground which Ikuhara has presented in previous works. Notably, the series seems like a follow-up to Mawaru Penguin Drum, much more than a follow-up to Yurikuma Arashi. There's several images which are lifted from Mawaru Penguin Drum, including how the civilian population is drawn as almost white cutout figures. If there will be any more connections to Penguin Drum, thematic or otherwise, it's too early to say. In fact, it's too early to say almost anything. Ikuhara loves twists, and the format of this episode suggests that there's going to be a lot of dramatic reveals at the ends of future episodes. Now, unlike Ikuhara's previous 2 works, Penguin Drum and Yurikuma, I actually found the animation itself to be very enjoyable with this episode. The simplified designs of the Kappa boys allows a lot of fluid and expressive animation, and that combined with Ikuhara's always excellent aesthetics makes the episode a joy to watch. Hopefully the quality of animation will remain this high, because this episode did a great job of taking advantage of animation as a medium. This is a story you couldn't tell in any other medium, and who else would have the idea to tell it than Ikuhara? I'm expecting good things from the show, and I'm very excited to see next week's episode. So, what did you think about the episode, and what are your interpretations so far? Please tell me everything you know about otters and Japanese folklore in the comments. Bye, and thanks for watching.